Welcome to Tech Tip Friday. I'm Kurt Stahle, that plastics guy, and I'm bringing you a tech tip that will help you to understand the plastics industry just a little bit better. So today's tech tip is based on a conversation that I had with a client of mine earlier in the week. And I'm recording this on Thursday. We had the conversation on a Monday morning. And he asked if I could provide expandable polypropylene. Well, turns out I can't, but that got me into thinking about this type of process. And I wanted to do a Tech Tip Friday on it because I think there's some really interesting things here for those that maybe are not familiar with this type of product. Now, have we all seen it? Well, in one form or another, most likely yes. You may be familiar with this type of product if you've ever unboxed maybe a delicate medical instrument, or perhaps a piece of audio equipment that was extraordinarily delicate. This type of material has a little bit more, well, it's not as soft, let's put it this way, as the more ubiquitous expandable polystyrene foam, which is much more of a commodity packaging material. This is a very specialized product. It's a closed cell polypropylene, and it really is quite incredible. If you're in the hobby space, for example, radio-controlled aircraft have fuselage and wings that are molded in EPP. And you can see the polypropylene, the foamed pellet pattern, if you look past the really quite elegant paint jobs that are applied by the factories that build these. But perhaps the most common application that you would never see is the energy absorbing pad that's behind the plastic bumper cover of your vehicle, assuming you drive a modern era vehicle. Some of us have vehicles from different eras, but that's beside the point. If you take the plastic bumper cover off, you will see obviously wiring harnesses, you'll see metal structures, but you're also going to see a sort of a charcoal gray to black, depending on what color that they've allowed the pellet to go to. You'll see these large, almost brick-like structures bonded or somehow fastened to a metal carrier. Well, that is expanded polypropylene, and it's designed to absorb a significant amount of energy in the, well, hopefully the event you will never encounter being hit by another vehicle. So that is a pretty impressive use. I had to do some digging on how this particular material is processed, and yes, there are different grades of polypropylene which are targeted for expanding. Now, how does this work? First, I'm going to suggest you check out a video entitled Production of Automotive EPP Components at, it's a German company, KNAUF. It could be Knauf Industries. I'm going to put the link to the video in the bio of this so you can see. Now, they're using pressurized steam to inflate or create the expansion in the polypropylene, and it appears to me at very least that they're doing some type of energy absorber for automotive. That's kind of what the parts look like, and based on the size you can see the entire process there. But they're very careful with the amount of steam, the temperature, and the pressure that is introduced into their molding equipment to expand the polypropylene, and then post molding it looks like there's some special handling too. Now, they're not exposing all of the technology that they use, but I think the takeaway on this, it is not a process that you can do if you just have a conventional injection molding machine. You need a lot of ancillary equipment, both before and after, to control steam pressure. And then, of course, that introduces another variable into your manufacturing your manufacturing flow. There's safety training. I mean, steam is not something to be messed with. It's under pressure. It will scald. It will damage someone if they're not trained in handling it properly. So if you're looking at this type of part, do your research and seek out the vendors that can back you on this. I think you may find that unless you're going to go into this full steam ahead, no pun intended, it might be a type of component that is better outsourced to a company that specializes in and has the expertise in this type of process. It is not the same as the conventional thermoplastics that we're used to, that we deal with day in and day out. So I hope that tech tip does provide some, well, insight and interest, and you can use that Well, not necessarily on the shop floor, maybe in the sales office or your management meeting. Outsource this. It's special. Anyway, that's all I've got for today's tech tip. Join me next week. We'll have something else. It's summer. All these things keep coming up. There's fun topics. They never stop coming. We'll pull another one and talk about it. Thanks. Take care. Bye for now.